So today we have a wonderful feast day for a wonderful saint, St. Paul the Cross. So unless you're avidly devoted to kind of understanding the liturgical calendar, the first thing that would be raised is, technically his feast day is actually yesterday. But here in the United States, we actually celebrate it on the 20th. And the reason why is because also yesterday we had the Feast of the North American Martyrs. And so the Church in the United States has moved this feast day to today. And so it's one of those little liturgical law things that I get really excited about. But St. Paul the Cross was a fascinating character because he kind of grew into that name of St. Paul the Cross, because he started the religious order known as the Passionists. We don't really get to see the impact that they had here, like in New England, but they were very, very influential in the spread of the Catholic faith, especially in Maryland and kind of like the Maryland, Virginia. But Paul the Cross kind of started first. He grew up with his mother had a very strong devotion to the cross and meditating on the Passion. And so, also one of the reasons I like him, he was originally a military man. And so, but he was originally going to Venice to fight the Turks, but then he found out that the Lord was calling him to something deeper, to start a religious community that focused on the cross. And why is that so important? Like, we as Catholics, we love to have crucifixes. Why do we focus so much on the Passion? Because yes, our lives are filled with joy, but the majority of our lives is that of toil, of struggle, of carrying a cross. And St. Paul of the Cross rightfully recognized that we need to focus on that, because it's actually when we unite the toils, the struggles that we have, that we are able to, when we unite them with Christ, that's where those graces come to help us in our lives. Because it also reminds us that these toils and struggles were not meant for this world, were meant for something greater. And so he was really influential in really spreading a great devotion to the cross and the crucifixion. And in the gospel today we had that parable which we heard actually a couple weekends ago during Sunday Mass about storing up treasures. One of the things is we're not called to just store up worldly possessions. We're called to store up heavenly possessions. And one of the best ways that we can do that is to give all the things that we offer, our prayers, works, joys, and especially our sufferings, so that we can store up the graces we need to get to heaven.